Hey, what's up, you guys? Eric with OzoneTCG today. Today we have Renren, and today we're going to take a look at his Spright Tri-Brigade deck and how it fares against some of the other meta decks. Let's go ahead and get right into the replay. So this is game one versus Sean. It looks like you're going first. So what do you think? What does this deck do differently than regular Spright?
Okay, so Sprite Try is interesting because it's a variant that doesn't lose to Dark Ruler no more, since your disruptions are layered. And another cool thing is that Gigantic usually doesn't need to result, like you don't need to get the Gigantic for your main disruptions, it's just an extender or the last thing you do most of the time. It's kind of similar to Verde, unlike in Pure Sprite where you need Gigantic to resolve so you can get your Totalies going, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So here, Sean has two Veilers, which beats the call. That's okay.
Okay, activates. Right. I think the cool part is that we have Lightheart in Power of the Elements, and I really like that card for Tri-Brigade because it's a free Link 1 Beast Warrior for the deck.
Yeah, it does so much actually.
Does it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It won't show up in this game because I had to Gigantic early, but in other games it will show up. So here's another cool thing that Sprite does is it abuses Elf really hard. It makes Kit and Karaz really good.
I see, okay. And even though you can't summon Lightheart in like this situation, or even something like Rugal, you can still summon Double Dragon Lord since it's a Link 2, which is really cool.
Yeah. So here we add the Karaz and then Elf revives the Kit. So I can get the Farragut and then
revive. Okay, and then special summon. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I'm still learning the arrow, so here it might not be as optimal as the other game.
Okay.
So yeah, summon bits.
Oh, for Bearbrum, okay.
Yeah, now we go with Bearbrum. And let's try to see if Jit gets us anything.
And here's the Double Dragon Lords. Oh, and then I guess it won't matter in this game, but
yeah,
you can also send like Bearbrum to the graveyard for Double Dragon Lords. Again, it won't come up here, but it's still cool.
Okay, so here, so this game was tested before we had Night Early. Like ideally, you would use Pit Night Early there, which is another interruption. So that's much better instead of wasting the second Farragut. Just something to note.
Yeah, you're not locked into
another
summoning
thing
only
is
tri-types.
And another thing is like DDL can send the Shurig, or so you can get a DD Crow, even if it's negated by Dark Ruler or something like that. So you have Crow Revolt.
That's quite strong, actually. Wow. And you hard made Bearbrum, so you can go like revive your hard summoned Frigid and Bearbrum for Shureg instead of using all of your banished cards.
Yeah,
that's actually really cool.
One thing you can do, I didn't get to show it off here because the hand was weak, but in stronger hands, you have, thanks to Lightheart, you have enough resources to basically hard make Shurig and then make Bearbrum with it. So you get Crow on your turn, and then on their turn, when you revolt, you also get a second Crow alongside the banish.
Oh well. I feel like I would have ashed Kit Kalos here.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I held it for him, but I think it was some.
Because I would have just gone Ash on Kit Kalos, probably bounce Kit Kalos immediately afterwards.
Yeah, you could do that.
Actually, maybe not. I probably would have saved the Revolt, actually. Or used Revolt to get Shureg, banish, Kit Kalos upon resolution so they can't get Havnus.
Yeah, I did play into Havnus here.
Yeah, if they summon Reno Heart at that point, then you still can go to DD Crow. You just bounce the Reno Heart.
So here he goes, Reno Heart. Yeah.
His mills.
I think he milled meta, but he doesn't want to add it back, right?
Yeah, he's probably going to use Reno Heart's effect in the graveyard. I feel like that'd be the better play.
Right.
Yeah.
His pitches aren't all that great. It's
Oh, he's
another
playing
Reno.
more than one Meta Noise. I know since this replay has happened, he's actually not. He's not playing Meta Noise anymore.
Yeah, I don't think he was on Therium stuff with him, so I ashed the Reno right there. As opposed to ashing Kit, but you probably do ash Kit.
Yeah, I feel like interrupting Kit Close is going to be the best play every single time, or close to every single time.
Yeah, they're like in some cases it is worth to stop their first thing, but it's usually you have to.
At this point, I think the only thing he really has is potentially a dark. I don't think that gets him anything though, just with the Link 3.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. If I had Pit Knight early, I could use that instead to negate the Reno Heart by using Elf Revive.
Yeah.
So we would have had one extra interruption. So it's all good then.
Yeah, the card is incredibly strong in this deck and also in Spright. I think there's Marin playing.
Yeah. And not many people are playing it in pure Spright, but in Spright Tri it's very strong.
Yeah. Well, I think it's easier to trigger in that deck too. Not that it's not easy to do it in Spright. It's just you have to like really commit to it. And
yeah, a lot of your negates are conditioned. So.
Yeah, and you have to like assume that your opponent isn't able to interrupt it whatsoever.
It's okay if like you're more permissive and they can have more bodies on the field, so you can negate the second thing while red or carrot negates the first thing, but it's tough. Yeah. So I do use Elf here to get Gigantic instead.
Yeah.
As he was trying to get Gigantic. Not want to get Soul or whatever.
Okay. Shiren effect. He's banking on some mills right now.
Yeah. So Rain was already used here, so.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I guess Salic. So yeah, but he skips there. I think he was on the punks this game.
Okay, yeah, maybe that's why he normal summoned Ash Blossom. Yeah, he is on punks. Okay. Yeah, Foxy Toon Havness is pretty good. Let's see. You do have Ash Blossom and Valor though. It's going to be kind of hard to play through as well.
Yeah, I chose the Asher, and he just passes.
Yeah. Guess what? Okay, Elf. Yeah. Yeah, that's just so crazy. You can go into Spright Elf for free.
Yeah, so even if you don't draw like the crazy sprites like Jet or Blue, you could any of the other sprites can still go into Elf alongside Kit, and that's your main play.
Yeah. That just does so much. That's crazy.
Yeah, I decided to add Carats here since that's the usual play. So he goes for Faults and chains Valor. But usually, Valor isn't that big of a deal if you actually see your stronger sprites. I'm just not drawing them.
Yeah.
This game. So he goes for
Shiren.
He goes for Shiren and
Chainlink 2. Okay.
So he kind of has free reign right now. Oh, another cool thing about Elf is that the tries you summon under it, they're untargetable, so it's very hard to actually stop the banish effects from going off.
Nope. You have to go Droplet in this case.
So he goes for Reno right here. He has to send the Hawkness. I believe he's going for Kaleido.
Yeah.
Which is okay because we still have it.
Yep.
And I'm not locked into it. Oh wait. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you were gonna go.
Yeah, there we go.
Light Heart. Yeah.
Light Heart. Yep.
And
now
free.
Just go into. Right.
2 materials. Okay. It's not bad. Karis gets the link too. This is a pretty straightforward deck too. Sprite's already easy as is. Tri-Brigade is not super difficult to play. This definitely makes it very much easier. to play as well.
Yeah, you just need to be mindful of your zones. Really, is the thing.
Yeah.
I don't-
Okay, bear run.
Oh, I remember now. So I only have one card in hand, but Shurei gets the search, so I have two. So I can use Brum Effect. It's a little awkward, but it works.
I don't know how good evenly matches versus Tearlaments. I guess versus the P.U.N.K version, it's way better.
Yeah, it's really strong against P.U.N.K, and
Yeah.
it seems to be decent against everything. I guess in the Tyrion one, it's not as strong because of
Yeah.
Regulus.
Well, and there's
But most people
usually
are
little
like-
commitment anyway. So like at worst, you banish maybe a negate, maybe the field spell, but they still have Hobness potentially. They still have a fusion, or they still have, you know, a set card plus Hobness, something like that. I feel like it.
I do think the card is strong
Yeah.
in the format anyway because of other decks like Eld, Flume, and stuff. So here I go for Gigantic. And so I don't have any cards to get a Revolt, right? There is a way to get Revolt here. Thanks to... I believe it's Jet or Blue.
It's just crazy how you can go, how the Tri-Brigade lock into Tri-types just doesn't matter because it only matters for Link materials.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, and you not being able to... And the cool thing is, Splites lead into Tries, and Tries lead into Sprites, basically. So yeah, here I add Jet, Revolt, and then put back the Jet, and... Yeah, and I believe... Yeah, since Shureg was hard made, if I revolted there, I would also get the Crow. And yeah, and that's game, basically.
Yeah, and it's really cool how it was Chainlink 1 Bear Brum, because you can still activate with no cards in hand, of course, but then you just shuffle the whatever card you had off Sprite Blue. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool game.
Yeah, nice little interaction there. We're gonna go ahead and go into the second match here. So this is versus, let's see what deck. I know you're still playing your variant.
Yep, I think it's also
the
P.U.N.K tier,
version.
but a lot more refined list.
Yeah. This opens up Zayamin, but you do have the 3 hand traps, which is kind of crazy, actually.
Yeah, I do kind of gamble here because I was scared of Gamma, but he does have the Cult Play, so I guess it doesn't matter. We'll see though. I believe he goes for the Chaos Rooted Line. Which is the Shy. I feel like he would have kept the Shyren and then just pitched Veiler. I guess he wanted to.
He hasn't normal summon, so he might need the additional piece for Firex. I guess he does have Foxy Tune or Zayamin. Let's see.
Yeah, so here I think I go for a gamble. I imperm the ruler and then try to throw the target. And that's what he called, guys.
Yeah. I think that's the only thing he can really call by that he knows of.
Yep.
I just don't see how this helps, because it's going to be met with Ash Blossom, no doubt. Yep.
Yeah, and then I stock out.
Yep. Which kind of had to, because like he had to negate DD Crow, you have to use your Ash Blossom. This
So
is
here I draw into another blue.
crazy. So yes, the
And
Ash
he has
Blossom just
two-
doesn't even matter. Even the Veiler just doesn't matter either. Your card just trades
Yeah,
so well
he
in the hand
burns-
traps.
So I go for starter here, and then he ashes it up. So, and then I normal blue, special blue, and then he Veilers that, and then we just go to Gigantic. And since Gigantic basically summons Kit, and now the whole Tri engine is online.
Yep. Yeah, so even the Veiler just doesn't matter at that point.
So yeah, I sailed it, so for Jigen. So I do make a small misplay here at the end, but it luckily didn't matter too much. I shouldn't have used Elf since he top decks Hobness for a turn. It's okay.
I see.
Smashers is really good against Tier and Spright, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like he ends main here, and I should have just let him end.
Yeah, just start whittling down the life points. I guess it
Since
would
I can
really
just play
depend.
on my.
Yeah, I guess it would depend on what he mills as well. But that also does put a body on board.
Yeah, it's a little scary, but luckily he does with, and that's the game.
No. Okay.
So
To game 1, then we'll go into game 2. Okay, Merle.
So here the hand is pretty strong. I even have Art Ultimate Slayer, but he goes into a cool tech that basically stops it. That's the problem. See you later.
Okay.
Yeah, I shouldn't have allowed that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that would have been a good place to Veiler, but I guess it depends on what else he plays. Still good to stop that though, even though he does have plays after that to extend a little further. Again, stopping the Kit Kolos is pretty strong, generally speaking. It's basically Oviraptor for this deck. It is Oviraptor for this deck that same way that Oviraptor impacted Dinos.
Like you really do need to stop the Kit Kolos from resolving. This does so much.
Especially if you're able to Veiler or Imperm, so because reviving with Kit Kolos is almost more important in some cases than adding the card, because the adding, of course, is good, as is any kind of Stratos effect, but sometimes you just need the additional mill. Usually it's mill 5 or up to mill 8 with Merle, just to get the rest of your engine going. But it's quite literally just Oviraptor. It's kind of crazy.
If you're on punks, it goes like mill 10, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll mill potential. So this is if you go the Merle route. So add Merle, Kit Kolos target itself, special summon Merle. You mill 5 from Kit Kolos, 3 from Merle, and then potentially another 4 from Zombie Vampire, and also potentially if you have it too, 5 from Chaos Ruler.
Yeah. So here's the issue. He's also taking Elf, so like Slayer doesn't do anything here, unfortunately. I could have tried to play maybe if I could hit the Window Brawn, but yeah.
Yeah, the window definitely hurts. Really hard to play around this, and especially because
I'm not really playing the Twin Link. Maybe I should. I'll consider it. There is one flex slot in the extra deck.
Yeah.
I'll think about it.
I don't know if it's worth it necessarily, but it's crazy also that Entis, even if you could target Winda in this situation, it's still win out Winda, because Winda can't be destroyed by opponent's card effects.
Yeah, I think I would do like if you didn't have Elf, you could do like shuffle the Winda and then force the Baron.
Yeah.
Basically.
I just don't think personally that it's worth playing the extra brick. I know OCG is quite fond of the Evil Twins tech for Ultimate Slayer.
Yeah, I believe so.
Which they have a different format, so...
So here we're actually going to get to go first.
Yep. Ooh, very strong.
Yeah. I can't seem to use the talents because he doesn't open any hand traps, but it is a very strong card.
Yep.
Both in Pure and in Spright Track.
Yep.
So here we have Kit plus any Spright, even though it's not blue or jet. It's still very strong, as you could imagine, because of the Elf plays.
Yeah, just being able to go into Elf from here, and then Kit mill Nerval, add whatever you want, and then Kit still comboing into Frigid because of Lightheart. Quite cute. This is something I feel like some North American players are going to play at some point. There will be someone who plays a Tri-Brigade Spright variant, and probably top of Premier event with it, just with the amount of people who like playing Tri-Brigade in especially North America.
Yeah. Although right now, I don't think they have it solved quite yet, or they're just not using it, since we've mostly seen just pure and adventurers, right?
Yeah, I don't see a reason to play it necessarily, but I do think it is still really cool to see all of these plays, and being able to really focus using Sprite Elf.
Yeah, yeah. So here, I am much more knowledgeable with the arrows. As you can see, Akiraz also is untargetable here.
Yep.
Unlike the game versus Sean.
Even if they were to Nibiru you here, you'd still at least have the tactics as backup in Frigid Draw.
Yeah.
At the very worst.
And the cool thing is, if you just get hand trapped somewhere, you can just like commit to Gigantic as Plan B. It's not as mandatory to resolve, like in Pure.
Yeah. It feels like insurance. Doesn't feel like it. It feels a little bit like almost like Pot of Desires resolving after you get interrupted. It's like an insurance.
So here, I do waste a second Farigit. I do play a Darumadel now instead, since the second Farigit is important for later. But here I am trying to go for the hard made Shurake line, since I really want 2 DD Crows, especially since this is post side. So it's very likely that my board isn't going to stick because of a blowout card like Dark Ruler or Evenly Match, so I do want the double crow. And also Fairy Joy to blue there is really big.
Okay, that makes sense.
I believe I get Smashers. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I would necessarily get Smasher. Like, it's fine, because just Smashers and Starter are just bonkers cards. If
Yeah.
it were me playing... Yeah, honestly, I take it back. I would have searched Smashers as well.
Yeah, there's also like some conflicts with Starter and Revolt. Like you don't want to Revolt
yeah.
early necessarily.
True.
Okay, so here, since I already hard drew the Revolt, I just go straight into Pit Knight, not even bother with Bear Broom, Fairy Jet Start May, so no big deal.
And here's Pit Knight. Card's insane. I don't think it's busted. It is a very, very strong generic Link monster, though. But the fact that it can quick effect negate is really nice. And change the attack to 0.
Yeah, change the attack to 0 is so good.
That is
especially
relevant
since
for
it
this deck.
protects all your sprites, since they are pretty small.
Yep. Just makes
So here I
anything
go
you
for
can target,
Carrot.
you can still kill it.
So I just set tree and yeah, hope for the best. He does have the Duster, so it's okay.
The good thing is, again, you still have the double hard-made Farigit, so you can go into the second Shreg. Something.
So he draws... I think he drew a Punk for turn. Yeah. And then here,
Yeah, you choose Aemon.
I do kind of choose to negate the field. I'm not sure if it's right, but I do like want to limit his access to names.
Okay.
So that's why I believe I use Carrot here.
Yeah, Carrot would probably send Gigantic, yep, to destroy.
Yep.
Destroying the card
also-
is super relevant.
Oh, also, a cool thing is that Smashers, Carrot, DDL, and Red can free up spaces for your Revolt if things
true.
get dicey.
Yep, very true. Even though they are susceptible to your opponent's Call by the Grave, it is still nice because you're not going to always need to play around the 1-of.
Yeah, so here he does have the Duster, so that sucks, but it's no big deal since I do have 3 zones and I get a second throw here.
Yep.
So I basically just revolt.
And even with
also-
the Revolt, so you still summon with Revolt, and then you still summon Shreg, and you can still use Elf's effect to revive, which still triggers Shreg.
Yeah, that's another cool thing, basically.
I just think it's So crazy. It just doesn't even matter what they have. This acts like almost like a better Rugal, I would argue, in this deck.
Yeah, I'd argue that Elf is basically go on steroids. So here I go for the search and then the draw to hopefully try to find another hand trap, but I don't get it. So I just put back. I don't remember what I put back, but yeah,
Fractal back.
having the second throw there is so big.
Yeah.
So we still have. I still potentially have Pit Knight negate and the Shuriken Banish. So here I throw. He goes for Cold Buy. I just use the second throw.
Yeah. You kind of have to. It's also really nice that you can go Elf, Chainlink 1, early Chainlink 2, negate, summon, and then next Chainlink, get
Shuriken Banish.
Just a bunch of removal.
Yeah.
And then that will probably be the game at this point. I would go Elf Effect here.
Yeah, I Pit Knight comes up here now since I negate.
And then he has no interruption here. Chain early.
I think I should have probably summoned a Tri, but it's okay. Red can still negate and destroy.
Yeah.
And
I think either situation was correct.
Yeah, and then Tearlaments is basically crippled now, and that's he basically still shows his gamer cards.
Yep.
If he had Dark Rulered me there, it was fine because I had called Smasher's Revolt.
Yep.
So either way. It's basically a version of the deck that doesn't lose to blowouts as much. I know Pure Spright can still have like smashers and hand traps, but sometimes it can be not enough.
Yeah.
So that's why I like this variant more. I don't necessarily think it's better.
Can still do things too, and that you can still search DD Crow, especially versus Tearlaments, is incredibly strong.
Yeah, and I think it does decent versus Spright, especially since they're all tunneled into the frogs right now.
No, I agree, and you can still I think there's enough room in the main deck space. Since you're playing something like Triple Attack Talons, you can still play like Dark Ruler No More instead if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
Very cool, awesome. I am excited to feature this deck a little bit more. I really like the way this plays. Just seeing how it plays now and how Tri-Brigade is still able to adapt after almost being out for 2 years. Really, really cool.
Yeah, thanks for having me.